White power.
If you are listening to this podcast, it is 2023, and Matt has informed me that it's the year of the faggot. It's my year, baby.
This is a free episode, Bobby. That's how we're starting.
That's how we're starting.
This is not a Patreon.
Fucking Elon Musk owns Twitter. I could say faggot as much as I want now. Welcome to Locker Room Talk. I got Matt Maran, I got Joe Gorman, and I got myself, Bobby Sheehan. More importantly, I have all of the towel heads out there. How you doing, towel heads?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, dude.
Yikes,
Yeah.
dude.
What did you guys do for New Year's?
Tell the Locker Room Talk boys, what do you do for New Year's? I got to take the glasses off. It was nice for effect in the beginning, but it's very uncomfortable and affecting my vision.
For those just listening, pull over and pull us up on YouTube to see our cute little hats. We're all wearing hats. Matt is wearing his Cowboys hat for New Year's. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what... Did you realize that 2023 is going to be the first full year of Locker Room Talk? So we started at the beginning of this year.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we started in March, April, I believe.
Yes.
Something like that.
This is the year of Locker Room Talk.
The year of Locker Room Talk.
Yeah.
The official year.
The year of the incel.
Yes.
This might be the year the incel uprising happens.
How come you didn't turn on your thing?
Oh, they turn up.
Oh, that's so cool. Matt is trying to turn on his New Year's Eve glasses.
Maybe it might need batteries, but it clearly has like...
Yeah, it does have
Oh,
a
here you
switch.
go. This is what you need. You need to
Yeah.
pull this
Okay,
out.
Joe is figuring out how to turn on the New Year's Eve glasses.
Remove the tabs. Hit the button.
Ooh, and they are flashing different colors on the side. There you go.
There it
There you
is.
go.
Hell yeah.
They're now on top of my Cowboys hat. Dallas Cowboys just beat the Titans. We're making the playoffs. We're going to make a run this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that you're a Cowboys fan for some random reason.
Yeah. I'm New York sports in every sport, but football didn't have a real New York team growing up. Like the Jets and Giants played in Jersey. And when you're a kid in Queens, that's as far away as anything.
Yeah.
So I had like favorite players. I remember I had a Brett Favre poster on my wall growing up. And then I got a new one after he was sending dick pics and stealing money from the poor people in Mississippi.
No, you didn't.
Now I'm a bigger fan of
Now you have current Brett Favre.
Now I'm a bigger Brett Favre fan.
Hell yeah, dude.
But he, so I would like root for Brett Favre. I remember I would play Madden, and whatever team I was really good at in Madden, I would root for. I remember I loved the New Orleans Saints. It was the year of the Hurricane Katrina also, so everyone was rooting for them. And they had a
who
running-
dat?
Yeah,
Everyone
who
was
dat?
saying who dat?
Who dat?
Who
Who
dat?
dat?
Who dat? And
Who
it's
dat? They say they're gonna beat them Saints.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals do Who Day.
Who day?
Yeah.
How about Uday? Like Uday Hussein?
Ooh, maybe. I think that's what it's short for, actually. But yeah, so the Saints were a favorite team. They had a running back named Deuce McAllister, which I still think is an all-time great football player name.
Hell yeah, dude.
The first football jersey I bought as a kid when I was a teenager was a Deuce McAllister jersey. I was like 12 years old at Modell's and begged my parents to buy me Deuce McAllister. It was the gold Saints jersey. But yeah, so I would have favorite teams like that. And then in high school, I had a friend who moved up from Texas who was a football player. And I was like 15, and he would give beer out at his place on weekends to anyone who would come over. And he was a year older than me, so he was only 16, but he got beer somehow. But the rule was if you wanted to drink his beer, you had to root for the Longhorns on Saturday and the Cowboys on Sunday for college football.
Nice.
Okay.
College football and NFL. And the Longhorns won the national championship that year. And I was drinking beer every weekend, so I was like, fuck it, I'm in with you. So a lot, like when I was a kid, I had like Cowboys stuff because they were the team and I just had sports things. My parents saw I liked sports and they were like, all right, well.
At least he's not gay.
Yeah, we'll buy him the Cowboys shirt or whatever. But I didn't really like the team until it was like 2006, 7. So I didn't get the Super Bowl years when they were winning all the time. So they're like the team that people say, oh, if you're a front runner, you root for the Cowboys. But
You're
the whole
the day
time
one.
they won this past weekend, but they haven't won a championship.
No, I'm saying you're the day one.
I'm a day one.
You're a ride or die ho.
Yes. I have been rooting. I have never seen the Cowboys win a championship as a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Maybe it can happen this year. But they're a team that as soon as you get your hopes that they could do it, is when they break your heart.
And the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were by far the most boner-inducing cheerleaders.
Yes,
of all
they
time.
are. My dad, who is not a big football fan,
Yeah.
when I mentioned Dallas Cowboys. He's just like, ooh, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yeah. You know, God
Yeah.
forbid if Kelly should ever die before me,
Right.
I would probably remarry a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
The
so.
only the only person in my eyes that's almost as beautiful as Kelly.
I think this is the most appropriate episode we've ever done of locker room talk. Is literally
Yeah, 'cause,
talking
like-
about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
And how much I love my girlfriend. And
Yes.
like, you know, Bobby starts it off by him like breaking out. This is like 2023 is going to be his bad boy year where he said a slur,
Yeah,
you know. How about that?
Yeah.
Well,
what
I
if
could
that-
say faggot
Why?
because I want to.
Ah. Ah.
yeah. And because if he were in jail,
He would be raped.
Yes.
Brutally.
Yes.
I don't think
I'd
Bobby
be like,
would
come on, don't you? One of you faggots want to rape me? Come on.
I feel like Bobby would get killed if he went to prison.
yeah.
Well, that's full of people that don't follow the
Yeah.
rules.
Matt would be reformed, and I would thrive in a prison environment where I couldn't live in the real world.
you
again.
would join the Aryan Brotherhood.
I'm already in the Aryan
Oh, right, you
Brotherhood.
would,
If
yeah.
anything, they
Right.
would be like, "Oh, cool, the boss is here."
Yeah.
And now we can finally figure out.
Yeah. So what do you guys do for Christmas?
Christmas, I celebrated the birth of our Lord, of course.
No, you
Right.
didn't. You ate fucking apple pie and ice cream,
I
and then
did.
and then did crunches because you felt self-conscious, and then went to the bathroom and purged.
Okay, well, I did do crunches almost immediately after, but not because I felt self-conscious, but because I believe life is all about balance.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's the fucking Joe anthem.
Who says
Yeah.
that?
Life
dude?
is not about balance.
Yeah.
Life is about complete and utter hedonism at all times.
Yeah, the only people that say life is about balance are the people that wasted their existence trying to balance things out.
Yeah.
Trapeze artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you guys together on Christmas?
What?
It was
no.
How did you?
We've talked about this.
What?
What we did over Christmas.
Matt, you never listen. We talked about what we were going to do over Christmas
Yeah.
on the previous episode, and I had
Right.
mentioned that I was going to eat apple pie with vanilla ice cream on top.
With his aunt,
Oh.
he has feelings for.
I'm
her.
sorry. I just don't listen to you.
Joe's real
Yeah.
great at reading between the lines.
Yeah.
Because I never even mentioned my deep-seated feelings for my aunts.
It's like
Right.
implied, dude. Why
Yeah,
else would somebody hang out with a member of their own family?
I feel like when I talk, it's like boring to you, so you just add stuff to it.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm like, I'm real excited to see my aunt, and he's like, he's in an incestuous adoration for her.
Why not, dude? You saying she's an uggo?
No,
I kinda wish
everyone
I-
in my family is beautiful, with one notable exception.
Kind of wish I had.
Ooh.
Ooh, Freudian.
Nice.
It'd be nice if I had what Joe had,
What?
where I can, the way Joe interprets what people say is way more interesting than what anyone says.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm living the fucking best
Most
life.
people, when they are doing interpretation, it's usually negative about themselves. Like, oh, what did that person mean about me? But yours is just like, how do I keep my brain constantly stimulated with different narratives?
Yeah, how can I be entertained outside of Fortnite?
Mm-hmm.
I better start implying people are gay and racist and raping children and members of their own family. Otherwise, I'm fucking bored.
Joe's on a Zoom call at work, and there's all the women he imagines is like having like giant titties,
Yeah.
like with a girdle, like in the Wild West, and all the men have like large beards and smoking cigars.
Ooh.
He's on a constant like shroom fucking trip where he's
Yeah.
like, okay, I could almost imagine how this would be fun.
I got a free beat-off tip for everyone. Lactation and breastfeeding videos are uncensored on YouTube.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh,
So if you can ignore that little demon sucking on the titties,
or if that's an enhancer, we're not judging.
Yeah.
you got yourself a good little jerk sesh.
Or if you watch like medical videos where it's like, oh, this woman is going to have a breast reduction. I came across that on XXNX. It was like a documentary like this woman's tits are so big, and it was like this beautiful sad looking woman. She's so sad that her tits are so big that her back hurts.
Oh, yeah.
But the video is just like the doctor like looking at them, and what's nice about that is that this woman, she did consent to being filmed, but she knows she doesn't want us jerking off to it.
she
You know what I
consented to
mean?
being
Kind of makes it
filmed.
better.
It makes it a lot better, Matt.
She consented to being filmed, but she didn't consent to the three other guys coming into the doctor's office and brutally fucking her after the doctor. And the fact that the doctor gave a breast examination by doing this. And then like wedging his dick between her tits to make sure the firmness wasn't tight. It's like, oh, Well, the good news, Mrs. Johnson, is you can titty fuck like a 25-year-old.
There's announcements in every doctor's office. A breast examination is not an excuse for sexual assault.
Afterwards, they have to interview the fucking patient to make sure she felt safe during the entire fucking examination.
And then
like on
2
this-
weeks later, she gets a bill with all these codes, and it's $10,000.
Well, because on the subway they do that. A crowded train is no excuse for sexual assault. I'm like, respect to the guy that tried that excuse.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they make that announcement if somebody didn't try it. Like,
Your
in
Honor,
court.
did you see how many people were on that train?
Yeah.
Who? If you think about it, though, the more people on trains, the more likely there are to be big-titted women on there. And there's got to be a certain number of big-titted women where you're like, I have to grab one of them. You know what I mean?
You have to.
You have to. What are you, a pussy?
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
haven't.
I'm going to keep my hands to myself. That's the
told-
one rule I won't follow.
I'm not gonna rape a woman.
I haven't told you guys this happened yet, and I figured I would save it for the podcast.
Hell yeah.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done, and it was on Christmas. Joe, do you remember when we got those edibles?
Yeah.
And the thing on it said there was 10 of them, and it was 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
So to me, that means 100 milligrams. Mm-hmm. It's 1,000.
Yeah.
And I took it and ended up calling 911 and having a panic attack.
Did you take the entire? You took the
I
entire.
took just one.
Hell yeah, I'm not the gayest guy in the podcast anymore.
Oh my god!
For about 4 hours on Christmas, I was in the emergency room, and the doctor was. I remember at the end of it, the doctor was extremely annoyed that I asked to talk to him because I was still very confused. And
You were just alone by yourself.
yeah, I sat down. I just got back from the day before I was at the Baseball Hall of Fame, so I was like, I'll sit down and watch Field of Dreams. So I'm taking 1,000 milligram edible and watching a movie about a guy hearing voices in a field.
Oh no! You're like, I've never related more to a character in my life.
Damn,
And-
that's awesome.
And I can't even tell you what I was freaking out about. It was just anxiety and paranoia, but I couldn't tell you what I was like anxious
Well, it's
about.
probably
Yeah.
just like you were never that high before in your life.
Yeah.
So you were. It was a whole new sensation that you were completely.
But I can't
unfamiliar
believe you
with.
went from being alone to being like in the hospital surrounded by people. When I would get high, the thing I would hate the most is like interacting with other people.
Yeah.
Like going into a store and being like, he's gonna know I'm high. You know, that
well, once
shit.
I called 911, I'm like, they know I'm high.
Yeah.
They're gonna know.
They fucking. You would have gotten arrested for that like 5 years
Yeah.
ago. How funny is
So
that?
what did you think you were having a heart attack?
I thought it was possible. That was the thing, is they checked my vitals and all, and it was all fine. But I guess it's just I never felt that way, so I'm like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna do something where I'm
The
gonna die?
THC fucking fixed his brain so he wasn't retarded for like
Yeah.
4 hours, and he couldn't handle it.
I'm multitasking. I'm having ideas all at
Yeah.
once.
I just called and said, I kind of have memories of what I was saying, which it's crazy because
You're
even
talking about it like it's an alcoholic blackout.
Yeah,
You're
well,
like, I
that's
do
the-
remember some of it.
well, because even a couple days later, I was like in hindsight thinking that was a really serious thing that I was really upset because I was so paranoid. I'm like, I can't believe, and then I realized I'm like, I was just calling people going, my brain's not working, I need help, which is not actually not that big of a deal. Which
that
is
was
why-
like the second time in your life you've said that too.
Yeah. Because I've taken 25 and 50 milligrams before, so I figured, all right, 100 won't be that bad.
Matt's gonna have an aneurysm, and it's gonna be the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, something's wrong with my brain. Like, okay, buddy, eat another cheeseburger. You'll be fine. Is that what the doctor prescribed you? 3 cc's of cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prescribe you munchies until you pass out.
I called my dad first, actually.
What did Dad say? Called 911.
Yeah. He
Dad,
just-
dude, Dad sucks.
No,
You
he
call
didn't.
him-
He didn't freak out and say call 911. He was just more of like, I don't know what to do other than to tell you to dial 911 because I can't do anything.
I would say like Matt, I need you to take 10 very deep breaths.
Yeah.
I want you to go on your phone. I want you to look up pictures of your family. I want you to look up pictures of your favorite memories to ground you. I want you to have
Okay.
a big glass of water.
Yeah.
And then after you've done all that, I want you to come back to me. I want you to play one of your favorite songs, your favorite song that makes you happy, and then I want you to tell me how you feel after that.
That's
That's
absolutely
why you
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you don't waste your time fucking talking to your fucking idiot family or some moron doctor at a hospitel.
Yeah.
You call a guy that regularly
I
does
should have
drugs.
called you. Yeah.
I'll get you out of that shit, dude. I was hanging out here probably being 3 times as high as you. Fucking, like,
I mean, 1,000 milligrams is a lot.
Joe is as high as Matt. He's like doing his taxes. He's fucking working out.
The most I've ever taken, I did take a 10,000 milligram edible one time in San Francisco. It was this
Really?
brownie. And I ate it all because I was traveling from San Francisco to New York to meet my family.
Yeah.
I was so high. Like, I started getting high at work. Like, I worked a half day, and I felt like getting high. I hung out. I went home because my parents were going to give me a ride to the airport.
Yeah.
I went to my parents' house. I hung out for like 2 hours watching TV, and I was like, damn, I'm fucking stoned.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the airport. I'm like, well, this is good. I just have a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
I'm already checked in. I got there, no problem. I was like, dude, I am fucking high. I'm fucking high.
Yeah.
And this was a Virgin America flight, which
Yeah.
was cool because, like, you get in there.
It's every flight I take.
And Virgin America, like, they had, like, color, like, low lights, but they were kind of, like, illuminated. It felt kind of like a club. They had music playing. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fucking cool. I settled into my, I settled into the chair, and, like, they're doing the security, like, hey, make sure you're fastening your seatbelt. Make sure, you know, if you can, in an exit row, you can handle that. And I was like, all right, I'm fine. I feel like the plane taking off. And then the next thing I know is, like, we were landing in New York. So I'd, like, passed out, like, literally on a cross-country, like, 6-hour flight. I was out, like, the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of the cabin pressure and all the THC. But I was stoned, like, my first full day in New York.
Yeah.
Like, my first full day in New York.
Because, I was
stoned
feeling
as
it a
shit.
couple days later.
Yeah.
Even still a
But
little bit.
I feel like that, like, maxed me out. And, like,
Yeah.
now I'll never be able to get that high ever again.
Yeah.
And that sucks. 'Cause I loved getting that high.
Yeah.
I love getting high.
I couldn't complete any thoughts.
I would
It
give
was just-
anything
yeah.
to be as high as you were, man.
Yeah.
That's the, folks, that is the only, and I repeat, only downside of doing drugs is you build up a tolerance and need to do more drugs. But it makes life interesting because it makes an adventure, always looking for that new drug to get you fucked up.
That's why
What friend or loved one will I betray next for that sweet hit of serotonin, which my body can no longer naturally create? Who must get hurt? It doesn't matter.
I think it's adrenochrome is what you're looking for.
Adrenochrome is what keeps you young. But I don't need to. I want to be like a fucking gross-looking old man.
Well,
Like
you're well on your way.
Oh, I'm out. I'm not halfway there, dude. I'm taking the Danny DeVito approach. Because eventually, like, you try to look young for too long, and you end up looking weirder than if you just aged out naturally.
It's like the Bill Burr bit. Stop trying to look fuckable in your 50s.
Yeah, just like be
Yeah.
you. You know, it's like like look, Danny DeVito is probably like the most fuckable man in the world, and he just aged naturally. He's
Yeah.
a fucking king.
Should we open my Christmas gift?
You should.
I kind of want to. I do want to do that, but I'm curious. So did the ambulance come?
Yeah.
So an ambulance came.
Dude, how expensive was that fucking edible trip?
The whole time I was, even while I was still high, I remember asking the entire time about my insurance.
God, dude, you're
So I still
fucked.
I still haven't gotten anything.
Dude, you're gonna have.
I
an
went
awful
to
go.
I went to a hospital that was nearby and just an ER and then came right back and I
That's-
haven't.
dude,
But
you're
also
fucked.
my mom and dad on the phone were like, call 911 and I was like, I don't want to because of insurance. They're like, if you need us to help, we'll help
Oh
out.
no, your poor parents have to
Yeah.
pay because you're a fucking.
Did you
addict.
tell them you were high?
Yeah, I told them I took this edible. I said everything 100% what I did.
Oh
I was
my
too freaked out to even think of
God.
lying. Which actually, the next day when I talked to them, they weren't mad at me. They were like happy that I called
Yeah.
them.
That
and
you're not
didn't-
dead.
They were
did
no,
the right
not, even, not
thing.
that I wasn't dead. That my dad wasn't even freaked out by it. My mom kind of was, but they were like happy that. I would not try to lie or hide it from them, and that I would call
A fucking
them.
30-year-old man. Fucking thank God you did the right thing
Yeah.
by not telling us you were high.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm glad we didn't have to ground you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Matt comes in. He's like, "Hey guys, we could have New Year's Eve at my house. My parents are cool.
No, it wasn't.
They'll let us drink."
No, it wasn't like a because like they're overprotective like that. It was more of oh my God, even though he's like old and moved out, he still like knows that he can trust us.
Aw.
Even
It
though
was
he
more
can't
of-
handle his own drugs.
Yeah, it was more of a trust thing that they like didn't know necessarily that they'd be my first phone call.
Did they put you on a stretcher?
No.
They had
Okay.
to retain. Like they fucking
Yeah.
brought tranks to fucking try to restrain them.
I feel like that's got to be a good feeling if you're a parent and your kid moves out and they're just gone, but then when they're in trouble, they call you. There is kind of a feeling of, oh, he still like trusts us and likes us. I feel like you may be worried a little bit if like he's gonna be doing all these things or whatever. He's gonna get in trouble and we'll never know what's going on.
I remember my
Yeah.
mom being disturbed because I went to Tennessee and back without telling her.
Yeah.
She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't need your help with it."
I
She's
did
like, "You
that-
could have let me know." I'm like,
in college, I visited a friend who lived in Texas without telling my parents, and it was still, and they like freaked out about that.
That's so wild, dude.
Yeah.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I
I
don't
do
need fucking
too, yeah.
mommy and daddy to fucking sign a permission slip. I'm a fucking grown man.
No,
and if
my-
they got a
yeah.
fucking problem with it, I'll throw them down a flight of fucking stairs, dude. You think I care about their inheritance? I don't need their Bob Dylan albums, dude.
I don't think my parents would have said no to any of it. They just
Yeah, they
like want to
would.
know. Your mom wouldn't have said no to you going to Tennessee.
I mean, she can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You know.
the thing too. Yeah, it's not like
As long
my
as like,
parents-
as long as my parents don't find out I do heroin, it's like whatever.
You know what it is? I was like, I'll tell them about it eventually, but you can't tell your parents everything because then your phone calls will get too repetitive.
You're not like
Yeah.
fucking friends with your parents.
I mean, even people I'm friends with. I mean, do I text you guys ever?
No.
Yeah.
I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
yeah, but we're not friends.
But like
we're,
I
we're
don't,
business.
yeah,
That's
I don't
right,
fucking
I forgot
text
that.
my boss saying like I'm going out to eat. You
Yeah.
want me to pick you up anything?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Well, I also don't regularly talk to my parents. Like
I
that.
never talk to my parents.
I would consider myself like friends with my dad, but we like talk baseball.
Really?
You have friends who you just talk about different things with.
yeah.
But when it's like, if I have a moment of like I don't know what's happening, I'm freaking out, I'm panicking. My dad's like the one I'm gonna call.
Daddy, I'm high. Help, Daddy, I'm high. So the ambulance gets there. Do you? So they don't put you on a stretcher. So are you just sitting in the back with the
Yeah.
EMTs?
Yep.
And are they?
Damn,
What's
on
their
Christmas?
Yeah, on Christmas.
Damn, dude.
In hindsight, I haven't thought about this really because all in the moment and afterwards I was just thinking about how I was feeling the whole time. In hindsight, he was just doing his job and realizing I wasn't a threat to myself and was like, all right, I got to take this guy in. Probably on his phone, just relaxing because he doesn't have a difficult job at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go. I guess to the emergency room and you're seen by an intake nurse.
Yeah.
And what's that like? Is she? I'm just asking. A heavyset black woman.
No, it was actually like a young Asian guy.
Huh.
And I tell
He
him.
said, "Right this away, so please, you're very, very high."
And I tell him that I took some edibles. And
Oh,
I'm, like,
edible,
way too
very,
high.
very bad.
No, he was the other way. He was like sick, dude. Like went to give me a fist bump, and I was just like, "What's wrong with you? This, like, I like this is serious. What's wrong with you?"
Matt's
so
a melted girl from the PSA on the
Yeah.
couch. Like I can't move.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all learned a valuable lesson about not doing drugs and then discovering them later in life. The best time to do drugs is mild experimentation in college, and then from 23 onwards, just live in a haze of marijuana smoke all your life.
So and then so, are there any other people between this Asian intake nurse and the doctor who was mad at you?
I don't remember.
Such a blur.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah,
you were just
dude.
there for a few hours?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I woke up.
Dude, if you took
And
an ambulance, that's going to be a huge fight. Your parents
Yeah.
have to be rich, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like, for
Subscribe
an
to the
ambulance ride,
Patreon, folks, in case Matt has another
Yeah.
panic attack where he needs to be driven to the
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah, I remember one of the nurse woke me up and said, "You're discharged," and I was like, can I talk to the doctor?" Because I like had no idea what had happened or what was going on, and he just came out and seemed so annoyed that I even wanted to talk to him. Was like, "You're fine. It'll wear off. It's just time. Go home."
Okay.
And then
That's
But then
so funny.
you're like definitively like this is over then.
yeah.
Okay.
That's so. I
And I
guess
just
yeah.
knew it was gonna wear off, and I was just like trying to do stuff and just kind of very confused by the whole thing.
That's so
Yeah.
wild, man. Like,
Yeah.
you've never had to go to like a chill out tent at a concert or anything?
No, I mean I've worked security at concerts,
But like, I mean, like, a chill out tent is basically like when people
Yeah.
like overindulge,
Yeah.
and like maybe got like a little dehydrated or shaken up.
Yeah.
Where they basically, they take you to a tent, like maybe they let you hang out and
Yeah.
drink water and eat some lemon wedges and just kind of.
I've blacked out before. drinking.
Well, that's completely different. Alcohol and marijuana are so
Because alcohol
different.
lowers your inhibition, so nobody is ever like, "Oh my god, I am too drunk."
Yeah.
No one ever's like that. Everyone's the perfect amount of drunk to drive, dance, post on Twitter.
Whereas with marijuana, it's like you're never high enough.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like smoking weed before the podcast, and then Matt's talking about being too high, and I'm like, I'm not high enough. I am not high enough right now.
I guess in hindsight, and even beforehand, if you'd asked me who would I call if I had like a drug emergency, I would think Joe. But in the moment, I'm just thinking I'm gonna die. And in that moment, I'm like, I
want
want
to talk to my dad.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Now it's like, well, this definitely we got to put a pin in that hole. I want to do mushrooms at some point because it's like.
Well, I would do it with you. I would do it with someone.
Do you really want to do you want your first time tripping on shrooms to fucking be Joe like, oh, really, Matt? Oh, really? Are you starting to trip?
Well, even
look,
even us on the podcast, as soon as I talked about taking too much of an edible, Joe's like, here's what I would have said, and was the most serious I've ever seen him in my life for a minute straight.
It's the only thing I'm ever serious about.
So I actually do trust being around Joe on shrooms.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if
dude.
something was wrong, he would actually seriously.
I'm
help me.
going to wait until spring. I feel like shrooms
Yeah.
would be a good spring thing to get
Yeah.
out of the winter fog, especially a nice. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to get a good quarter of shrooms.
Yeah. I'll probably lie to my parents about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, last time I did I did shroom chocolates with the lady, but then the first time we did shrooms, we got like actual like dry shroom, like the actual like psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah.
And we got orange juice and we got some mangoes and frozen pears.
Yeah.
And we blended it up and we made a smoothie. And we basically drank like an eighth of shrooms each. And then we went to Coney Island for the day.
Ooh.
And that was a lot of fun, just kind of walking around Coney Island. It's good to be with like a person that you kind of vibe with on an energy level. Because, I mean, like shrooms just kind of... People will say like, oh, I had a bad time on shrooms or I had a great time. But really, it's whatever feelings you had going on at the time, whatever thoughts were going through your mind, it will amplify that.
You don't think anyone's completely like 180, completely surprised?
No, I think like I think like what it is, it's like because one time I did acid and I started feeling bad and I was like, damn, I was trying to like avoid this. I was hoping that this feeling would kind of be repressed doing this because like you can't treat drugs like alcohol because alcohol is great for like repressing that shit and numbing your and not thinking. But, drugs, they bring a lot of that stuff to the forefront, which is why, now they're saying like MDMA and psilocybin might be good for, people like trying to recover from post-traumatic stress and shit like that. It's kind of bringing that stuff to the surface.
Yeah.
But, if you're in a bad mood, it's going to make your fucking bad mood way fucking worse.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. That's why you got to be in a good mindset.
Yeah.
So if you have something going on or if you're like not 100% in a good mindset, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
If I can work through it, it's like chill.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's also, I have felt better about myself doing that because it does feel like therapy in a lot of ways. One time when I was on like a lot of shrooms, this is back in San Francisco, I was like really fucking tripping, but then I kind of started looking back on my entire life, like all of my existence as an outsider.
Outside of everything.
Yeah, and it helped me like make amends with a lot of things. Like I realized like I myself like wasn't like perfect, and so it helped me like forgive people because I realized
You used to think you were perfect?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone is for a little bit, or just get out of themselves.
You're either most people are, especially when you're young, are one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
You're either like I'm God's gift to the world, or you're like I'm a fucking loser piece of
Yeah.
shit. You could guess which one I was.
And eventually, like as you get older, you find like it's like we're just people.
Yeah.
It's like for some people like we're very good, and for some people we're like an asshole. A
Yeah.
lot of people just fall like in usually indifferent apathy.
Yeah. I guess, there was an overall feeling of, even like days after, of nothing matters.
Yeah, you'll
Which
get that.
is, Also, I get so days afterwards, even though I wasn't high anymore, I felt like I was almost going through the motions of things I know I'm supposed to do, but not feeling like they mean anything.
No, it doesn't, and that's why I'm apathetic all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, come here. Like, I'm getting high. I'm like, this shit
Yeah.
doesn't. A lot of this shit doesn't matter.
But
What was your attitude before you? Because now I'm wondering, Joe's like, it's set and setting. I know he's talking about shrooms,
Yeah.
but did you have a certain character about yourself before you took the edible? Were
No.
you feeling stressed or something?
No, my thought was it's Christmas Day. I got some Chinese food, and I'm going to watch a movie and do the Jewish Christmas. And I've taken edibles before, and it just kind of makes me nice and relaxed, and I'm going to watch Field of Dreams. And I'm like, maybe I'll cry at the end of this.
Okay. And you did.
Yeah. And, so I was, like, very relaxed and in, like, a good place, and then just...
I wonder if it was
yeah.
because you're watching Field of Dreams. I wonder if you watched something cool like Bullet Train, which I think you would really like.
Yeah. Maybe.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's real fucking good.
Brad Pitt on a train?
Yeah, it's real fuck. It has everything you
Okay.
want.
Yeah.
Intense fighting and trains.
Hell yeah.
You should leave a 1-star review for Field of Dreams. Watch this movie. Ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner messages you. It's like,
Yeah.
you fucked up my algorithm.
Yeah. But yeah, so before we started recording, Kelly told me that her and Joe got a Christmas gift for me.
Yeah, I guess mine's lost in the mail. It actually is lost in the mail.
Yeah, that's what Kelly told you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, fuck, that other guy. Who's the other guy in the podcast?
But I was like, should I wait to open it on the podcast? And also, from Kelly and Joe, does that mean Kelly and then she's saying it's from both of us?
I had input. Yeah, I think you'll see.
Okay.
I think you'll see.
To Matt from Joe and Kelly. If you're just listening, you're just going to hear me opening a gift. Bobby, you want to give a little play-by-play?
Okay, so Matt put a box that is wrapped in brown paper, has like an autumn feel to it, and he's opening the box. He's very excited. He just mouthed "I love you" to me. I thought that was cool. Okay, this is
There's a cooler on the... It looks like it could be a cooler.
Okay. Matt is opening. He's almost done with the wrapping paper. The wrapping paper is officially off. Now there's a box. Okay. Oh, he's at a cooler. It is a Undertaker lunchbox.
Yes.
Cooler.
A cooler. Undertaker cooler.
Oh my god! And it's a purple. Is that his color?
Yes.
This is Matt
It
is
says,
beaming
"Rest in
with
peace"
joy.
on
It's the dead man
Yes.
version.
This is a great gift. I could tell
Yes.
Matt loves it. Open it
Yes.
up, Matthew.
I mean, it's just going to be a cooler that you could open. There won't be anything inside. I can feel there's nothing inside.
But, I mean, imagine what it's going to look like putting your Claritin in there. That's Kelly's way of saying bring your own Claritin to the podcast.
I do. The Claritin that we have here, I bought and have left here for me to keep
that's
coming.
hilarious.
Thank
yeah.
you, Joe. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice.
That's awesome.
You could bring all your workout gear
Yeah.
and your boiled chicken with grilled broccoli.
My lemon lime prime hydration drink. We're basically the Logan Paul podcast.
We
now.
are, dude.
So I'll tell you what your gift originally was.
Ooh.
Kelly and I paid this guy to hack Haley Mather's iPhone, and we got various pictures of Eminem's daughters.
The one bit I won't
Yeah.
yes and.
We got various pictures of Eminem's daughters' vagina and butthole for
Mr.
Bobby.
Mathers, I'm not participating in this. You could see me not laughing.
And then we made a T-shirt for Bobby, and it says, "My name's Bobby Sheehan. I'm a big Eminem fan, and all I got was the sexual fantasy of objectifying and violating his perfectly legal daughter, who I'm sure also has a high school diploma, which is a prerequisite for Bobby
You
busting
do
a nut.
listen.
Yeah.
You really do listen.
Yeah.
Or a GED, folks. Unless you're over 18, then what's up? I don't care about your education then.
Over 18, even if they're retarded. Even if they have that,
in the colloquial sense, as in stupid or unintelligent,
And-
not disabled.
and if they have that Gary Coleman disease where they look like a child, watch out, because you're living in something Bobby calls a loophole, and that's where his dick is at its hardest and therefore most dangerous.
Hell yeah.
So, body of a child, mind of a woman, watch out.
Oh man.
Yikes! Merry Christmas, Bobbert.
Thank you very much.
I'll get you those naked pictures of Haley Mathers sooner or later because I know
Joe, the gift,
how much you love that.
the gift of laughter is all I need from you. And a safe place to podcast is all I need from Kelly.
Yeah. Do you think Eminem's going to shoot you for that?
I am terrible. We talked about this on Young Guns.
Has he ever like actually like fucked somebody up, or is he just like, yo, bitch?
He
seems like that white guy rage kind of shit.
He got in pretty big trouble in the early aughts for pulling a gun on an ICP associate.
Wait, was that Triumph the insult comic dog? No.
Yeah, he's an ICP associate.
Yeah.
For him to poop on.
Hell yeah. That's a great character, by the way. I know one of the writers.
Really?
Yeah.
We all do.
Who?
Dave Cyrus.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
And Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson doesn't write for Triumph.
But he's friends with Dave Sears.
Yeah.
That is my quote unquote credit for when I'm talking to extended relatives. They're like, "What's comedy?" And I'm like, "I'm friends with Dave Cyrus, who is friends with Pete Davidson."
Yeah.
I'm like 1 degree separated from Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
I am basically Pete. It's like I put my penis in Kim Kardashian's pussy.
I met Ariana Grande when he was dating her.
That's awesome.
Did you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
She looks like a little.
He's like,
ass
"Hi,
girl.
I'm Matt Marin," and she's like, "Thank you, next."
Man, if I met her, I'd be like, I own your skin in Fortnite.
Yeah.
And now I'd like to own your skin in real life. She's like, he's
Yeah.
cool.
There was
This near 40-year-old man is cool.
there was a party, and I was at Dave Cyrus had a birthday party at Pete's place.
Oh, my invitation must have gotten lost in the mail.
And
I was explicitly
yeah.
told not to come.
Yeah.
And it was when he was dating Ariana Grande. I remember meeting her and then just introducing myself. Like Pete came around and introduced her to people, to the comics, and I introduced myself.
He's like,
to
hey,
her.
this is my flavor of the week.
Yeah. And I didn't say anything more. There was no other point at the party where we were in the same circle, because why would we be? And I was not. A few of the other people there were like trying to get in the same circle to talk with her, and that's not my vibe. I'm not
Why
gonna.
not?
I don't know. I'm not gonna.
I would have
Matt
asked her. I would have asked her what it was.
Bitches to come to him.
I would have asked. It's like, dude, what's up with that Nickelodeon producer? I gotta know. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Everyone here wants to fuck you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What's up with that Dan? What is it, Dan Schneider?
Dan Schneider.
Yeah. What's up with it? Did Dan Schneider do anything to you? Because I know he did something to Janet.
Matt McCurdy.
Yeah. Who
Joe's idea of small talk is, "Were you molested?"
Yeah.
I have to know, and it's like, honestly, Ariana, you're doing a disservice to other victims by remaining silent. I hate that. I hate it when like women are like, yeah, fucking drag them. But then like, it's like, why didn't you say this guy fucking molested you? And they're like, it wasn't my fucking place.
Yeah,
to
you're right,
say.
Joe. I should have victim shamed her.
You should have, dude.
At my friend's birthday.
You should have said,
party.
admit it.
That is, you know what? If you that was the level of negging you were doing,
Yeah.
it might have worked.
They asked me to leave. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm the fucking fat, creepy guy in her life. I don't think so.
I guess it was interesting where I knew she was like big, and I was kind of like almost like a fun anecdote, like, oh, I was at a party with Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
The next day, I was still working security at
before you became a drug addict, so you could
Right.
still do security work.
Yes, I was working security at a thrift store at the time.
As Mark Henley would say, "May he live forever."
May he live
As
forever.
Mark Henley would say, ooh, I'll have 5 men in my asshole because I'm gay. I saw a picture of him kissing a damn man.
Yeah. He
Can't
did.
believe I fucking shared a car with that guy.
How you just gonna be gay?
How you gonna kiss a man?
The Mark Henley, the Big Dog Christmas special is out on YouTube now, and he does kiss a man in it.
He did. Not me. Apparently,
I fucking I reported that video on YouTube. I was like, this is fucking vile.
reason, quote, homosexuality.
Yeah.
Eliciting feelings I don't want to tackle just yet.
Yes.
How cool is it that our fucking Die Hard video got a copyright claim, dude?
We're
Yeah.
dangerous, dude.
We actually will never be monetized now. We'll never be. So, luckily for our viewers, that means you'll never have to worry about these faggot commercial breaks breaking up. Dude, you're watching a fucking, like, honestly, YouTube, get rid of the fucking comment. It should be like donation, like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You really, because it's like you get so much free content. It's like people should have the option to opt in, but they should also say, I don't have fucking commercials on my YouTube
Don't
page.
give me commercials. Some of these commercials last 14 seconds to all the way to 88 seconds. I don't have that kind of time.
So,
I want to watch a YouTube
14
video.
to 88. That's interesting.
That's Bobby's age range minus minus 15 to 23 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. So I have an ad blocker on Chrome, but pretty soon Chrome's not going to let ad blockers work on their software. So you got to use Firefox if you want to watch YouTube without commercials.
Well, that's my take now.
Finn, come here.
I think Die Hard is a New Year's movie.
Ooh.
No one has that take.
Nice.
There aren't any good New Year's movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's a New Year's movie? Or a movie?
Sound off in the comments.
A movie where even like New Year's happens.
There's plenty of movies.
I feel
where
like
New Year's
there is.
Iron Man 3. There was
Huh?
New Year's in Iron Man 3. There's plenty of fucking. There's all.
I'm sure there are. I just can't think of any.
American Psycho. There was New Year's in that.
Yeah.
There's the countdown is so pivotal in so many movies. 10, 9, 8. Dick in my ass.
What were we just talking about before? You were about to say something, Bobby.
How he wanted to fuck Ariana Grande.
Right. Oh, Mark.
But only if he
Mark
could
Henley.
go
when
in
I
a time
when I
machine.
worked at the thrift store.
Yes, Mark would always say that Matt was, quote, willing to take a bullet for handbags.
I was paid to take a bullet for handbags.
Would you have done it, though?
Absolutely not. But anyway, I came in the next morning. We had like a meeting, and I said to like one of the coworkers that I was cool with, I was like, "What were you doing last night?" And it was just one of those where we
I
had to
fucked
be up.
Ariana Grande.
We had to be up early, so I was like, I was dumb. I went to a party at a friend's place, but it was kind of cool. Ariana Grande was there, and they freaked out and told everyone. Everyone there's a huge Ariana Grande fan, and it was at that moment I realized I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because that was just nonstop questions and like people being upset that I didn't talk to her more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone wants to know, like, what did Dan Schneider do to her?
Yeah.
What did
I'm
you
a big
Ariana,
fan of people that were raped by Dan Snyder.
Ariana, please come on Locker Room Talk. We want to hear your side of the story.
Yeah.
You have a right to voice what happened.
But my Christmas Eve was very
Here's the other thing. Who could blame Dan Schneider? Right, Bobby?
Bobby can relate.
Bobby knows these demons.
Yeah.
Wrestles with those demons. Brother, he walks hand in hand with them demons. Bobby, it's fine. They know it's a joke. They know you didn't really murder and fucking have sex with all those kids.
Don't worry, Bobby. I'll change the subject for you.
Do you think Finn would want to like even hang out with you if you did that? Look, he's hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't actually believe in the whole dogs consents whether you're a good person.
Why?
I think that's like right up there with astrology in terms of things girls say.
I think you say that because Sal barked at you.
Sal has a problem with me.
I used to think it was all bullshit too until like pretty much every friend's dog that I meet likes me, and so now I'm like, yeah, dogs can tell.
Dude, dogs just love every time I'm just hanging out, like dogs will run up and jump up on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, dude.
Yeah.
I'd rather hang out with dogs than people. I guess I'm more beast than
Oh
man.
wow, you like dogs more than people?
Uh-huh.
Damn, you should become a woman and get a Tinder profile.
No, I don't want
Do you
to.
also love to laugh and drinking coffee?
No, I like to fucking put cyanide in fucking public swimming pools.
You get bonus points for originality, that's for sure.
It's in my eyes.
So my Christmas Eve was very fun. My dad's birthday is the week before Christmas, and I got tickets for us to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Why didn't you go to the Nutcracker?
Because
He already gets his balls busted enough by his bitch ex-wife.
There you go.
Do you mean that?
Yeah. But it was the night that it was like got below 0 degrees and it was snowing. So if you go up to Cooperstown, it's in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York. The highway takes you like 2/3 of the way there, and the last third is just like roads. And so in the snow, we're literally just doing like 15 miles an hour in the middle of the road.
Oh wow,
Just for, just because we drove the night before.
that's how gay you are for baseball.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so fun. There's a lot of very cool history stuff in there. There was a picture of a bunch of baseball players in like the late 1800s. After baseball had started taking off in America, there were teams that were like, this sport is so good, we should do a world tour and show the rest of the world this great American game. And they played a game like in front of the pyramids in Egypt, and there's a picture of a bunch of baseball players in like 1890 on the Sphinx.
Ooh,
And they have the ball that was used in that game.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There's also, this is maybe the funniest thing about the origins of baseball, and they have it in the museum now. They say the Abner Doubleday myth, because apparently Abner Doubleday invented baseball. He was a Civil War general, fought for the Union.
Oh, yeah.
He fought at Gettysburg. It's like outside of Meade, he would have been like the hero of Gettysburg. So he's
But
a
he was
hero.
when he was shot through the eyes.
Yeah.
A Southerner said, "You're out."
Yeah. Strike three. So basically in like 1905 or very early 1900s, there's like the owners of baseball are talking about what are the origins of baseball, and there's guys, Al Spalding's one of the owner of one of the teams, is talking to one of this British journalist who says, oh, it came from Rounders, it's a British bat and ball game, and Al Spalding will have none of that. This is an American game. It definitely did not come from Britain.
Mm-mm.
So him and the commissioner there was no commissioner yet, but a couple of the owners, they come up with a commission. They're going to discover the origins of baseball. And some guy named Abner Graves, who lived in Colorado, Denver, which at this point is like this transient place where fucking...
Trans?
Yes.
Yikes.
Where like just con men and people go. This guy Abner Graves...
So trans is associated with con men.
Yeah.
Perhaps people saying something that they don't really mean, pretending to be something that they're not.
You're right. Joe does really just hear what he wants to hear.
It's either something like that, or he just hears Joe's funny. Joe's really funny.
Yeah.
Joe's hilarious.
So this guy Abner Graves ended up in an insane asylum after murdering his wife.
It doesn't sound crazy to me.
Relatable.
At one point claimed that he rode in the Pony Express in 1852 when the Pony Express didn't exist until 8 years later. But he writes a letter because the commission has put out in newspapers, if anyone has any tips about how baseball was invented, let us know. And this 70-year-old guy, Abner Graves, writes a letter and says, I was in Cooperstown, New York, when Abner Doubleday, who later became a Civil War hero, it's a coincidence that an American hero happened to be the guy who invented baseball, came over to a bunch of kids who were playing marbles and said, stop that, I have a new game I've come up with, and drew a diamond on the dirt, and they started playing baseball, and that's how baseball was invented.
Yeah, it sounds made up.
Yeah.
Also, he walks up to a group of kids, he's like, stop playing those marbles. I got a much better game to play.
Yes.
And then he unzips his pants. And the rest is history.
Play with these marbles, will you?
Yes. This is getting to third base.
that's where the analogy comes from.
They're like, this isn't even a metaphor for something yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
why didn't he? Leave those kids alone.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Mister, don't fuck those kids in the ass. All you are is just a kid that's fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
Even
in this very clearly made up story, he's still a jerk. But Al Spalding and the owners were like, yes, an American hero made baseball.
Yes.
And that's what Abner
Nothing to do with England.
And that's what Abner Doubleday is more known for now. So in the Hall of Fame, it says Abner Doubleday didn't invent baseball. Baseball invented Abner Doubleday.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they have the ball that was allegedly used in this mythical game because it was a ball that was in the truck of this guy, Abner Graves. So it is still like 150-year-old baseball.
It's still cool.
Yeah.
But who invented baseball?
It was just there've been bat and ball games going back to like ancient times. There's drawings of people with sticks and rocks hitting things. The actual like modern baseball, there's it was being played in like there were the New York rules and the Massachusetts rules, and they have the diagrams of them in the museum where you can see Massachusetts had a square with like 5 bases, and the New York rules was more of a diamond, and they went with that. And then all the rules just kind of came in as things were happening, where it would be the pitcher would be the one who would just throw the ball to hit, and then one time a pitcher was like, well, what if I try and throw it in a way where he can't hit it? Because they didn't try and strike people out back then.
Oh, wow.
All these things just kind of like happened where a guy was on first base, pitcher throws the ball, and he runs second base, and everyone's laughing. The umpire's like, all right, go back. He's like, nothing in the rules says I can't steal second base. And that's how steals are invented.
Ooh.
Like everything.
I would balk at that.
That's kind of fucking cool.
There used to be a rule where if a ball landed in fair territory and went foul, even if it was before first or third base, it was fair. And there was guys who would just slam the bat and like chop down
Nice.
and to the side, and they'd just run around the bases, and no one was hitting the ball where players were. So they were like, okay, it's got to be down the first base line. Basically, the first 50 years of baseball to 70 years, they had the game idea, and just when things were kind of getting fucked up, they're like, all right, let's make a rule to not have that, or let's make a rule to have that.
Oh, did the game get better when people were following the rules?
No. It got gayer, dude. Look how fucking cool it sounded. You go around with a fucking razor blade in your bat, and then you just fucking hit people as you round the fucking bases, dude.
Yeah.
Until some fucking Bobby Sheehan like faggot was like, oh, it's not fair. We need a rule against people having fun.
There definitely was a guy that was like, I keep running for the ball and people are stealing all the bases.
Yeah.
Let's make some rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rules are gay.
Yeah. But it is.
Joe's the guy that loves the MMA area when you could punch the guy in the nuts as hard as you can.
Dude, that was like the coolest era of like where it was just like Hicks and Gracie fighting everyone, and like nobody had any idea about jiu-jitsu, and you'd have like a 300-pound sumo versus like a 150-pound kickboxer. That shit rules.
There was
dude.
that guy, Keith Hackney, who was like a Taekwondo guy who beat up the sumo wrestler. The guy he repeatedly punched in the balls, his name was Joe San, who is an Asian martial artist who is actually the guy in Austin Powers, the Who Throws a Shoe.
Really?
Yeah, that's the guy who, Keith Hackney, like
job.
holds his legs open holds one leg with his legs, holds the other one with his left arm, and just repeatedly punches him in the nuts, and he taps out. It was the Who Throws a Shoe guy, who also is now serving like a life sentence.
He killed a woman
for like violent rape. Yeah,
violent rape.
Oh, you're gonna have to listen to the Come Town episode about that.
They did talk about it?
We don't
Yeah.
talk about that here.
You don't want to redo stuff Come Town did?
No, I already did a podcast like that.
I did want to say. I think we mentioned we do it on the Patreon. I did buy a pack of baseball cards from the Hall of Fame.
Tops.
Folks, if you didn't want to pay for Matt Maron's ambulance before, you're definitely going to want to now.
Well, they liked our wallet reveals. I did a Christmas present unwrapping. Let's do a baseball card unwrapping.
Well, let's save that for the Patreon, though.
Ooh, should we?
We absolutely should.
We're going to tease.
You already opened up a present, dude. Don't be
teasing.
greedy.
That's
a little
true.
bit.
Yeah, okay. We opened the present on the free episode. Tune into the Patreon.
We still got a few minutes left.
And if you're not at all interested or even annoyed by the idea of a baseball card reveal, please don't unsubscribe from the Patreon. Folks, if you're subscribed to the Patreon, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to listen to every Patreon episode or that you necessarily enjoy everything or even most of what we do.
But I will say this, if the Patreon dips below $100, we're quitting.
And I will have a Matt Maron style panic attack, except I won't call 911 because when I call Matt's parents, they don't answer. And then later, Matt's dad leaves me a voicemail and says, you should kill yourself.
Nice.
And then I do. I commit Harry Carey on the Patreon, which you will not be able to see if you unsubscribe.
Ooh, you know what I found real interesting in the baseball Hall of
Two
Fame?
gay men having sex?
I mean,
No, he just finds that arousing.
yeah, not interesting. We were talking about war, I think, on the last couple episodes, just serving in war. What I found most, like, they have under the plaques in the Hall of Fame gallery if they served in a war, Korea, World War One, World War Two,
Africa.
the African War,
The Great African War.
One of those
which is
many-
what Joe calls being a like a police officer in the South during the Civil Rights Movement.
The Great
I got
African
it,
War.
folks. Yeah, the Great African War.
and there's a lot of Negro League players who are in the Hall of Fame who've been inducted.
That's not what you were calling them off mic.
Wasn't that like guerrilla warfare?
Yeah, that's what they called the Negro Leagues, Joe.
They did wear a G on their hats.
It is for the Homestead Grays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then they also had an N and an R.
Give me an N. N. Give me an I. I do not want to continue this bit. Go ahead. Matt.
We're cheering for nighttime baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
It's interesting that there's some people who don't know baseball, and when you say Negro Leagues, they're kind of like, geez. I'm like, there's literally no other word for it.
Yeah.
But guerrilla,
I can think of another word.
Because if you
Guerrilla
call it the
warfare is-
African American League, you're almost like underselling the fact that it was from a time that was so racist that they didn't let black people play with them.
Also, anyone who talks about it, like black people who talk about it, call it the Negro. That was the name of the league.
Is that a
but-
slur yet?
Negro?
Yeah.
I mean, if you said it to a black person, probably. But if
Really?
you say Negro League, usually people don't have a problem
It's
with
an
it.
anachronism for sure.
Yeah.
I remember my grandpa used to say like a colored man.
Yeah.
And that was, even he didn't say Negro, but he didn't quite graduate from colored to black
But
yet.
color is fine because they call POC.
Yeah, my grandpa was actually very progressive in
That's
that
pretty
way.
fucking progressive.
Don't ever say colored person.
Yeah, and you would-
person of color you can say.
Your grandfather was also gender neutral because, like, look, more of those people coming into the neighborhood.
Yeah, wow, what a great guy.
He's fucking a hero. He was like spraying like the fucking fire hose water on both black women and men. So it's like equal opportunity. But both men and women trying to go to the public library, he would turn the hose on.
And he would never go to the Jewish delis because he always went on Saturday, and he knew that it was supposed to be observing the Sabbath.
Right.
Wow, this is all making sense now.
Yeah.
Damn.
So under a lot of the Negro League players was like served in World War One, and to me that is kind of like mind blowing. That like later on when you have like Muhammad Ali saying "Ain't no Viet Cong called me the N word."
First of all, yes, they may have. They just
Sure.
didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Plus, that's how they say
Yeah, but in general, he's like, I don't have a problem with Vietnam. Why would I fight them? And he's like, the U.S. has done bad things to me. I don't know, like, I don't necessarily want to pick a side in this. And there's a part of me that's like, I kind of get that. And then looking back in like 1917, there's a part of me that's like, I almost would understand more if a black person who's literally
further
not
along,
not allowed to play baseball with white people. And he's like, yeah, I'll serve this country.
There's a picture of World War I soldiers in Germany, celebrating Hanukkah. It's like a Jewish division of German soldiers behind a big menorah, and they all got like the spiky hats, and they're smiling for the camera, being like, "We're taking a break from being in the trenches to celebrate Hanukkah." And I'm like, God damn, this makes me feel so sad.
Yeah.
But apparently,
Why?
I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that.
You know. Who knows where things may have gone for
that the German
Germany.
army wasn't pure.
Yeah, I'm getting so depressed. I'm like, they should have been done a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I was reading that during the Third Reich, you could get like exceptions as a Jew if you were like, but I served in World War I.
Interesting. Now it's Third Reich and you're out, right?
Yeah, that's the rules of baseball.
1, 2, 3 Reichs, you're out.
3 Reichs, you're out.
That's an ancient Chinese proverb.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think you could draft dodge if you're being segregated. If you're actively being segregated, you should draft dodge.
Why?
Yeah.
If anything, you should fight and show that you're as human as the rest of everyone.
I mean, yeah, that's like the two ways you could go thinking about it.
Yeah.
Fight
right?
for your whiteness. Mm-hmm. As like he fucking
You
fires
gotta
the
fight
the melatonin starts
For
leaving
your
his
white.
body. The melatonin starts leaving his skin as like the more soldiers, enemy soldiers he kills.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sunburned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta fight for your white to the front of the
word.
bus.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know that there was a black woman before Rosa Parks did that whole bus thing?
Yeah.
That whole bus thing. I'm so eloquent.
Yeah.
But she was a 15-year-old unwed, obviously pregnant black woman. So like all the
We don't want
organized,
this to be the face.
that's why people think it was a spontaneous thing. No,
No,
it was like
by the Black Panthers.
no.
Yeah.
No, Black Panthers were not in line with what MLK and Rosa Parks folks were doing.
That's what they want you to think.
I see. Yeah, Black Panthers is like the original. It was Antifa. Yeah,
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure within that there were probably more in the beginning stages of it before it becomes a more organized group. You have extremists and moderates.
Do you think it was like even crazier that Rosa Parks was a fucking non-pregnant wedded black woman.
Yeah, how'd
And
they
that
find
was
one
like
of
an
those?
even, like that was like an even rarer find. Like all these women were getting like arrested on the bus for the exact same thing, but they were all fucking pregnant and unwedded. So it's
Or
like,
just
goddamn.
they keep getting women being arrested, and they're like, "No, you're not good enough to be the face of our race.
Yeah.
We gotta
this
find
one's
a good
not
one."
hot enough.
Fucking a white man is like, hey, Rosa Parks won't move for me, and the bus driver's like, it's okay, she's pregnant, and she's like, no, I'm not. Like she's trying to get someone to kick her off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
That was the whole problem with so many of these. It's that she just like took the seat in the front because she was pregnant. You're supposed to give your seat up for a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Imagine being like, hey, young lady, I know you're pregnant, but
I
I'm
wanna
white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So can you please get up for me?
I would.
Yeah.
That's a compelling case.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do make a good argument.
You got to figure if you're in the like 50s or before South and you're a white guy and you're a fucking loser, it must feel nice to get on a bus and be like, all right, leave, darky. You know what I mean? That I'm starting to understand it a little bit now. To be
I
like,
guess,
at least
yeah.
I'm fucking better than somebody.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like no one will fuck me. I have a menial job. All I have is debating on how baseball started.
Yeah.
You know? And then
That's
all of a
all-
sudden
yeah.
you're like, I could make someone move.
That's all racism really is for, is to, at your lowest, you still feel like there's somebody below you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Also, do you know the history of... My dad was kind of taken aback by... There was, like, cartoon drawings in the Hall of Fame. There was, like, Currier and Ives, who do these, like, paintings of America, like, homes in the snow. It's all, like, Americana-type paintings. And or drawings, and there was one of like black people playing baseball, and they're all drawn looking like monkeys, like Joe drew it basically.
Wow.
And
I like to
and
think that's Joe's grandfather.
yeah, and my dad's looking at it like shocked that he's like, Currier and Ives is like this nice wholesome thing, and he's kind of every once in a while, like with some like progressive things, my dad, he's like more conservative, but then he'll see things like that and he's like, oh my god, like I was told my whole life America's great and I kind of feel lied to. Like, he
Your
has
dad's
moments
just
like
now
that.
getting it. That's your anchor when you're fucking tripping balls. A guy is that detached from America. Dude,
See,
America's
Joe
bad.
loves America because it's racist.
Yes.
I love America because even a fucking POC like myself can still become an Aryan if they believe enough in the cause.
Joe misinterpreted what the American dream is.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, I could be
Yeah.
an honourary white.
Yeah.
You certainly can, son.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's for him. It's like pieces over the years. Like things have been kind of broken down. Where he's like, thought things were a certain way.
They
grow
tell
up-
you when you're
yeah.
growing up that your son is going to be successful.
Yeah.
And you believe it. You believe it for a
Exactly.
long time, but eventually you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. But the thing he was kind of asking me, I didn't really have an answer for it. He's like, was there like there wasn't really an era of Jim Crow in other countries after slavery, unless was there?
Well, it wasn't as divide. There wasn't a racial divide for slavery in a lot of other countries. Slavery for some countries was like it was a intra-racial thing where it's just like almost like serfdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That sounds cool. Man, your chance of having a hot slave then. Ooh, baby.
So was American slavery unique compared to the rest of the world's slavery at the time?
well, slavery in the Americas,
Yeah.
not just the United States of America, I think was unique in that respect.
But why didn't Canada or Mexico have a Jim Crow?
Because they're fucking dumb, dude.
I don't think Canada ever had. Did they have slavery?
I don't
Oh,
know.
they probably abolished it when the Britain abolished it.
Yeah, or even South America. Was there like a Jim Crow
I
era?
think Brazil too. Brazil had slavery until like 1888 or something
Yeah.
crazy like that. I think so. Probably. You know what makes the U.S. unique is that it was so sectional. Like
Yeah.
it was just these like 11 states that the federal government was telling them to like live different. You know what I mean?
Gay.
So I think that's part of it.
If slavery was still legal, would you participate?
I love that we have come to this question multiple times on this podcast.
But every time it seems like the answer is yes.
or even because like in the like 20s, 30s, 40s, when it's like, is a black baseball player going to play in the major? When Jackie Robinson comes to the league, he had just as much problems in Philadelphia and Boston as down south.
Yeah. But But that is true, and yeah, we shouldn't, as Yankees ourselves, we shouldn't be all high and mighty like racism has never existed here. But I do feel like on a national level, like the Negro Leagues probably existed because the South, because you had to have the whole country on the same page about something.
Sure, but I just mean even in Philadelphia and Boston, why did that happen like in America but not other places?
Yeah.
Or did it happen other places?
So but the Negro Leagues, I feel like, yeah, like there were racist people in Philadelphia and Boston, but the Negro Leagues exists as an institution because you had to placate white Southerners.
Yeah.
But also white Northerners.
I don't know about that because I mean, even like pre-Civil War, you had like white people and black people like working side by side. We
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily
They would
want like
yeah.
interracial dating or something like that.
Well,
but
Negro League baseball games were some of the first places where events were happening where white and black fans would go together.
White and
There was
black.
integrated crowds.
like one of those cookies that you see at the deli, Joe. It's
Yeah.
like that, but with people.
I only
I've
eat the
seen
white
it.
side. So I have to get twice as many cookies. It's not fair.
yeah.
That's the exact fucking Joe Gorman problem. Is his racism is keeping him from eating all of the cookies he
Yeah.
would otherwise like.
It's
to
like
eat.
this fucking dark shit is costing me half my fucking dessert. This is ridiculous. A working man has to work twice as hard for a regular looking dessert
Yeah.
that doesn't turn one's stomach.
It was like a Chicago baseball team that was in the 1880s was like, we're not going to get on the field with that black person on your
Good.
team.
Wow.
Amen.
And that was the guy on the team was like one of the biggest stars in the game, was influential enough that there was just kind of a gentleman's agreement amongst all the clubs not to do it. But yeah, I wonder, in my studying of history, I haven't seen something like an era of Reconstruction and Jim Crow South that we had in America in other countries after slavery was banned. Like there's repercussions.
Well, like apartheid South Africa.
Yeah, was that they banned slavery and then continued to have apartheid?
Yeah.
I think so, but I'm not positive. Oh, well,
Man,
there must have been black slaves in South Africa, right? God
course
damn, there's
it's
a South
Africa,
Africa. There's a South African listener screaming right now.
Yeah.
And he's like fucking clicking his fucking tongue and like waving his spear in the air. He's a fucking bone in his nose, fucking
Yeah.
yelling and shit. He's got his-
Apartheid ended while we were alive. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Fucking 1990, I think. But by
Joe,
the way,
are you gonna be
guys,
okay
don't
knowing that
fact check
apartheid
anything we're saying. We're
The good
three
old days.
historians, scientists, anthropologists,
And eugenics.
and
Hey everyone, give us some money. Give us some fucking money. Matt has to pay for a fucking ambulance.
Father
bill.
Christmas, give us some money.
And stick around because we got a Patreon episode.
Where Matt is going to go ahead, explain what you're going to do in the Patreon
I'm
episode.
gonna unpack a pack of baseball cards.
Sounds like we have a lot of unpacking to do.
And I have a secret fact that could change the entire dynamic of the podcast.
It's just
So
that I'm
stick
a child
around.
molester again.
No, he said
Stick
a secret.
around.
He said a
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah, stick around and find out which podcast member has underage vaginal blood on his penis, whose initials are BS.
Yeah, well, I feel like this whole fact is BS, Joe.
Why?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hopefully somebody's resolution is to not have sex with children.
Thanks for listening, guys. We love you.